But I'll tell you who you wouldn't want to see in a drag race. That's an electric vehicle, right? Now, actually, I should admit, some of them are pretty fast, particularly the Teslas. But the big problem with the electric vehicles, of course, is they don't make any noise. I mean, you don't want a drag race. You want lots and lots of noise. And I'm certainly not the only one who seems to have a problem with electric vehicles, because the market has really softened. People aren't, they're not buying them in the same numbers that they were, because, of course, they've worked out that it's all a bit of a sham. And one of the great shams of it all now is that there's no resale value in these things. Now, there are two reasons for that. One is that the price of new electric vehicles keeps going through the floor. Again, because they can't sell them. So the manufacturers are now reducing their prices on the shop floor significantly. If you want to buy a Tesla Model Y, that's gone from $72,300 to $60,900. That's a pretty big drop. A Peugeot E2008 has gone, would you believe it, from $63,000 to $39,990. That is a real reduction in the price, because they really need people to buy them. Now, the consequence of that is that if you bought it for $60,000 last week and now the car's worth $39,000, if you go and try to sell it in a year's time, the depreciation is at least $20,000. We all know you drive a car off the shop floor and you lose value, but you lose even more value with electric vehicles now because the prices keep going down. And then the technology keeps improving with every year. So every time the range goes up, the driving range on a new electric car, it means your old electric car is worth less and less and less. It's no surprise, I think, that people are not buying them, and now these manufacturers are desperate to try and move them off the dealership floor, because people have woken up and gone, you know, it sounded nice for a few minutes, but it's just not practical.
Yeah, not to mention charging them is an absolute nightmare. There's lines out the door no matter where you pull in. I see them all the time and I'm just like, good luck with that. Fueling up still takes less than 2 minutes. But the angle that some people have taken on this, like finance giant Ross Gerber, saying that, no, this is due to Musk.
I love that.
And all he keeps coming out with all this conservative claptrap and saying all these controversial things. And that is what people think of when they decide not to buy a Tesla. So he is literally
I reckon he's onto
laying
something.
No,
yes, I do. Because who buys a Tesla? Why do you buy a Tesla? To signal to the world what a progressive, planet-loving, touchy-feely, you know, nice super guy I am.
But Elon is that.
It's the ultimate virtue signal. And then when Elon goes on, you know, X or whatever it's called now, and says, you know, annoying, uncomfortable things like, oh, I believe in free speech or whatever, and suddenly he's a pariah of the left, then suddenly your Tesla is signalling the opposite thing. This giant $70,000 virtue signalling exercise is suddenly signalling the wrong virtue. It's signalling a vice. And so suddenly, like, oh, I'm not going to take it out of the car, because people will think if I drive my Tesla, I like Elon Musk.
I reckon
really Ross Gerber,
stupid.
I don't know who he is or whether he's a company or a person or an
He's
entity
actually
or
an
a
investor
bot.
in Tesla himself.
But I reckon he's onto something, because obviously, like you said, the reason you buy an electric car is it can't be because it's more convenient, because it's not, because you have to wait for half an hour. I can't even wait for my phone to charge.
It's not more convenient.
It's not cheaper, it's whatever. You do it to show the world you're a massive prog rock wanker. And if Elon Musk...
That is what I think every time I see one.
If Elon Musk is suddenly the opposite of what you're trying to say to everybody, then suddenly your Tesla is worthless. Well, and as for the Peugeots, well, we all know why they're worthless. Because they're Peugeots.
Well,
who on earth would want to buy a Peugeot?
Yeah, but
honestly.
Joe, you can't lecture. You can't lecture on cars when you're getting around in a clapped out old Ford Falcon that had an infestation of German cockroaches.
Hey, it's this close to being vintage.
That has been fumigated, and I now just need to get it to the panel beater for the front, because I had another incident in the Aldi car park. But that's another story.
We'll have to see
that's German, not French.
If you can get an electric conversion kit, would you do it to your Ford?
No, it's already converted to LPG.
Oh, well, there you
go. So it's already like boom, boom,
convert anything to an EV? That's a waste of an almost vintage model.
My mechanic Peter, who believes that the human race was founded by giant alien visitors to the pyramids of Gaza.
Look, has it been disproved?
No, it hasn't. No, I'm all in. He's the smartest man I know. Apparently there are actually ways where you can get your favourite old car, like your American muscle car that you love, and they will take out the old petrol engine and put in an electric engine.
Oh,
and
no.
and it only costs about
that's sacrilege.
$70,000 or $80,000.
That's sacrilege.
Wow.
It's a ridiculous amount.
You can buy almost 2 Teslas for that.
Imagine taking an old Mustang and turning it into an EV. Like you should,
No,
And then you have to put in
there
like
should be laws
a
against
tape
that.
recording of the muffler.
No, outlawed. Any Prime Minister worth a grain of salt would just be like, don't touch the vintage car.